It's a really non-obvious cost reduction, but it's so significant, isn't it? Just to actually do things that 3 years ago, like we're talking 10 times less cost, like very likely more, like, in terms of time and actual money to execute these sort of things, like that democratization and reduction in cost, it's it's just spawning. It's just spawning just like so much new stuff that's hard to even fathom and imagine. But that is what I believe, and what I think I'm seeing in a lot of what I'm personally doing, but also just extrapolating that out to basically every part of the economy. Um, it's just like I'm just trying to think like a bit more high level. Like it's just absolutely mind blowing, what that is going to mean for humanity, for us. Broad skills are like just this like combination or culmination and all these mini pieces of software that you can boom instantly insert into your workflow, boom, spawn something else. It's from
Well,
an
and there's the
evolutionary
weird
point of
thing.
view, it's crazy, right?
So when the internet came on, the big unlock was you could put all these things in one place. All the shareware, kind of marts that came up where, you could look for a utility, it would be there. And then those got to be so overcrowded that curation became really important. And
Mm.
then it was like you had to have trusted people to tell you which of these were good and which weren't.
Mm.
And now it's gotten to the point where, when Claude Skills came out, I was like saying, all we have to do now is we have to go onto a skill mart, take the skill we need and pop it in. Well, the problem is they're so easy to build in most cases. The skill marts are accruing 1,000 new skills a day. And
Yeah.
so you're back to the point where the mart is almost too big. And the
Yeah.
interesting thing is it's not curation that solves the problem now. I just build it myself. It's faster for me in some cases
Mm.
to build a new skill than
Mm.
search through the mart and the six that are there and figure out which one is best. I just say I
Well,
build one for myself.
I know. Well, then it just becomes your imagination which is holding you back. It's like knowing what skill you need, basically.
Yeah. But
But that,
the thing is, even when you know exactly what you need, you're looking for it,
mm.
the search time is now in some cases exceeding the build time, which is incredible.
Well, it's kind of like information and content, right? It's exactly the same thing. I mean, you're probably wasting your time looking through Google and searching through blogs when you can just like ask ChatGPT or ask Gemini or ask Claude now. Like, yeah, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Um, I guess that's why Google have put AI overviews over everything because it really, the equation is so obvious now. So it's so obvious. Um, it's such a landmine, or sorry, a minefield for starting new businesses, isn't it? Because like one minute you think you've got this great AI business idea, and the next minute skills shows up, and like the amount of AI spreadsheet businesses that try to start up in the last like 2 to 3 years, and skills and ChatGPT agents are just like basically destroyed those. I mean, they've got no chance now. That's
Yeah.
just that's just one small industry, but man, it's an absolute minefield for the opportunities are great, but the viciousness of capitalism is also greater. It's also much greater.
Well, and the thing it takes to actually plow new ground is the resources are enormous. That
Mm.
you think about the compute, even something like Nano Banana, which I'm saying
Yeah,
something like, which is huge. It's
yeah,
like who would have the resources to do something like that fresh from the start, other than like a Google?
yeah.
It's like that's not something a small business is gonna, even if they had the idea of exactly how to do it, they're
Mm.
never gonna have the resources to match what it takes to put an idea like that in motion. And so, you know, you and I have talked. I think the weird thing about this is the road for small business is just so difficult. Um,
Yeah.
in terms of coming up with something new. Um, and
Mm,
even if you find a really clever gap between what's offered, it
mm,
doesn't mean that next week, they're not going to just incorporate that into their portfolio. I mean, I'm just shaking my head these days because
yeah.
one of the things it did in the midst of this is it told me when we went to the manual mode, it told me click on this, click OK. And I'm like,
Mm,
that option isn't available. And it said it should be there. And so I sent it a screenshot and it said, oh, okay, this is the problem. You're in the global profile. The thing I'm talking about is only in the local profile.
mm,
And I'm like, okay, that turned out to be exactly right. But A, how do you know that? And B, um, the thing that I realized is at that point, and maybe I don't even know if Gemini has the ability to do this. If I can show my screen and we can work together in
mm,
manual mode, and it can say, "Oh no, you're in the wrong section."
mm,
That's
mm.
gonna be a whole nother level of
Yeah.
learning and education.
Yeah. Well, you just think about how like that they sort of term them like computer operators, right? Like I don't even think that has even started yet. Like and just think about the compute that would be required. Like that's why you need all these data centers that are being built, right? Because I don't even use the operator stuff myself, and I'm a heavy user of AI. So you think about anyone who's using a computer eventually they're gonna want some side by side AI, like looking at your screen, just like working with you. I think that's gonna be huge, absolutely huge. Like I would love
Well,
that. I don't think it's just there quite yet. Like it's just not probably because they can't facilitate it. These companies can't facilitate the actual need.
well, I think it was like 3 years ago. I was at a Microsoft presentation, and they wheeled out like it was like a piece of machinery. I don't remember, it was like an engine or something like that, and they
Mm.
had somebody wearing VR goggles. And the person was working on the engine, talking through the mic, and then what they showed on screen was what the person would see through the VR goggles.
Oh yeah,
And it could basically like overlay like a
HoloLens.
virtual
What
lens,
it
kind of
was?
like Google Lens,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Was it
on
HoloLens?
top of
HoloLens.
the physical engine and
Yeah,
show, okay, here's where the part goes, here's what you take out.
yeah.
And yeah, at the time, it was clearly just kind of prototype stuff. HoloLens, I think they called it.
HoloLens, yeah,
And
yeah. That seems to
um,
have been that's one of the another ones in Microsoft graveyard at the moment.
yeah, but the concept is phenomenal, and I think it's
Yeah.
it's going to be the way things work. Because as I said, like we were so close in that discussion to basically that thing. If I would have been able to show my screen in real time to Gemini, I think it could have just worked me through it in the exact same way.
The unlock for virtual reality, which has always had a lot of potential but never reached its potential, is the world models. That is the unlock, isn't it? Is that
Yeah.
it always was cost prohibitive to build these worlds, and if you can just render them on the fly with AI, that's what's going to unlock virtual reality. I think I truly do. Um,
That and
whether
the better form factor.
yeah, whether virtual reality is a good thing for humanity, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure of that, but kind of like social media. But that is the unlock. And just think of the compute required just for that. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
insane. There was this really interesting YouTube clip that I saw of the top guys at Microsoft were with a podcaster who's become quite famous. And they were walking around one of their new data centers. I mean, this is the most incredible state of the art facility you've ever seen. And one of the things that took Satya Nadella joked, I suppose, aren't I meant to be running a software company here? And he's got this like beautiful facility of like just these racks of the video chips and stuff. So yeah, it's classic, absolute classic. I mean, they are going to be a physical asset company, man, as I've been saying for a long time.